Welcome to episode 3 of Crossing Europe Without Flying. In the first 2 episodes I traveled from the southernmost point in mainland Europe all the way to Paris via train and night bus. I am now in the center of Paris and I'm gonna head to the bus station and then take another night bus all the way to Hamburg, Germany. Afternoon guys, it is day 3 of my Crossing Europe Without Flying challenge. I have made it all the way to Paris and I'm now going to continue to northern Germany because that will bring me much closer to Scandinavia. As a reminder, I have to get from the southernmost point in mainland Europe, which is Tarifa, Spain, all the way to the northernmost point, which is the North Cape, without flying. So the next destination is Hamburg, Germany. The time now is 5:30 p.m. and my bus leaves at around 8:30 p.m. But the bus station is around an hour away. So we do need to get a bit of a move on. Alright, the bus is gonna depart in about 30 minutes and the bus station is right over here. So you have to walk through this park. And the park is relatively well lit, but the bus station itself is super sketchy. I actually arrived here this morning and yeah, this bus station isn't the best in the world, to put it mildly. This place is sketchy. I mean, I don't know how much I'm gonna film here because the characters in here aren't the most trustworthy people. Gotta keep your eyes on your belongings here in Paris-Bercy. And we are in Hamburg, Germany. Man, I'm exhausted. That was another 12-hour bus journey from Paris to here. First things first, it is cold here. I really gotta layer up. This is not gonna cut it. Gotta wear another jacket and a hat and some gloves. It is at least -5 right now. And I got a hotel here for one night, which is where I'm heading now. I hope that I can check in. The time now is 9 a.m. and it is day 4 of my Crossing Europe Without Flying challenge. So I hope that I can check into this hotel now because I really need a shower and I really need to get some rest. But apart from the hotel, I have no clue what I'm gonna do here, and I also don't know how I'm gonna continue. I know that there are good connections here to Scandinavia, and that is the reason why I'm here. So yeah, we'll figure that out over the coming hours. I did not get a lot of sleep on this bus, probably around 3 hours. And if you remember, I took a bus the night before as well. So yeah, I am so grateful to have a hotel tonight, but I gotta figure out where I'm going next. I have to head north. And also, if it's any colder than this in Norway, I'm probably gonna freeze to death. But I do have more clothes. I really gotta layer up. The time now is 9:30 a.m. But luckily the nice lady at the reception let me check in way earlier than usual because the normal check-in time is 3 p.m. I think. Where's my room? Oh, it's actually this one right here. Alright guys, I really need some rest now and a shower, so I'll see you later. Alright guys, I am now in my hotel room here in Hamburg, Germany, and I just had a few hours of sleep because, well, I needed them. And before we go out and explore the city of Hamburg, I actually need to plan my journey onwards. As a reminder, I did not book anything in advance on this trip. I am doing everything spontaneously. So I actually booked this hotel right here yesterday afternoon while having coffee in a coffee shop in Paris. And I'm so grateful to sleep in a bed tonight because I spent the last 2 nights on buses. Now, it is day 4 of Crossing Europe Without Flying. I have done over 2,700 kilometers. That means that I'm pretty much halfway into the journey to the North Cape. So I generally use a website called Rome to Rio because that website just shows you different connections between point A and point B. So obviously the first results that I get are the planes, which is logical. But when I take the train and bus and ferry options, as you can see here, it sends me via Sweden. So I am right here in Hamburg, and this website tells me that I should go via Denmark and then Stockholm and then This place is called Narvik, I think. And that is probably the quickest way, but that would mean that I skip Gothenburg, which is somewhere here, and Oslo. And I've actually heard a few good things about these two cities, so I do want to spend some time in these cities. So now I have to make a decision. I can either just go to Copenhagen and then see from there tomorrow, or I can try to get as far as Gothenburg or Stockholm tomorrow. Either way, I will stay in Hamburg today and then move on tomorrow. Right, that is a decision for later today. Now let's put on some layers and head into the city. Alright, we are outside and the time now is 3 p.m. I spent quite a bit of time resting and planning after this very exhausting bus journey. And to be honest, I'm really starting to feel what this challenge is doing to my body. I've done 2,000 kilometers in less than 4 days. So yeah, now I'm gonna walk to the center of Hamburg because it's very pretty here. It's around -3 centigrade and that gives me the opportunity to test out my winter gear because I think that in Norway it will be much colder. And the building you see behind me over there is actually called House of Chili. Not the spice, but the country of Chile. So it's sort of a national historic landmark. I'm not exactly sure why, but yeah, it's called House of Chile. I've actually been to Hamburg about 10 years ago, and I know that there are lots of canals and beautiful waterways here. So I think that we'll go check out some of those now. And yeah, this right here is Hamburg. You can see these dark brick buildings. That's actually the typical architecture of northern Germany. And another thing that I've noticed, there are lots of bicycles everywhere and a lot of people cycling in general. Right, let's cross the street here. One thing you do not do in Germany is jaywalking. It's red, but nobody's coming on either side, and yet people still wait. Now it's green and everybody starts walking. That is very important in Germany. You do not jaywalk here. If you do, some old grandma will shout at you. I am now on the main square in front of the town hall right there. And yeah, it's not super happening on a Tuesday afternoon, but I guess the cold has something to do with it. So now I think that I'm gonna go look for some canals.
Hallo, wir sind von Bonn hier.
Von wo seid ihr?
Von Bonn. Wir sind Klassenfahrt.
Ah, auf Klassenfahrt.
Ja,
cool, cool. Ich mache gerade eine Challenge von Südspanien bis Norden von Norwegen.
Krank.
Und ich habe in Südspanien, ja, ich bin jetzt Tag 4, vierter Tag. Also ich habe bis in 4 Tagen Südspanien bis hier Hamburg und jetzt weiter Dänemark, Schweden und so weiter.
Ja. Viel Erfolg.
Dankeschön.
Schreiben Sie.
And here we have our first canal in Hamburg. And this place is called Jungfernstieg. And I'm not exactly sure why. Now I know what that means in English, but not exactly sure what the significance is. So I will Google it and then put it into the video. But yeah, this is the Jungfernstieg and it's getting a lot busier here. One thing you do not do in Germany is jaywalking, and another thing you should absolutely refrain from doing is walking in a cycle lane, because the cyclists, they will hit you, and if they don't, they will get very angry. We are now walking over a bridge here, and that is a good moment to give you a little fun fact about Hamburg. Hamburg, in fact, has more bridges than any other city in Europe. It has way more bridges than Amsterdam and Venice. In total, Hamburg has around 2,500 bridges. Did you know that? Well, you do now. Lots of seagulls here flying around. That shows you that this is a port city, and we are now getting to the banks of what is called the Inner Alster. So the Alster is a big river here, and there is the Inner Alster and the Outer Alster. I'm not exactly sure how they connect, but yeah, this right here is the Inner Alster, and it's very beautiful. And the real beauty of doing this Crossing Europe Without Flying challenge is that I get to see places which are so different to one another. I started in southern Spain, which is a completely different planet to Germany. And yesterday I was in Paris, which is very pompous and very impressive. And now I am here in Hamburg, which is very beautiful in its own right, but completely different once again. This right here seems to be the fancier part of town, very close to the Jungfernstieg, which is where we just came from. And yeah, you got lots of expensive boutiques here and luxury cars, but also lots of cyclists. Hamburg seems to be a very bicycle-friendly city, and I didn't remember it like that. I think that this city has done a lot for its cycling infrastructure since I was last here about 10 years ago. But yeah, look at these canals. This looks really cool. I mean, this is really the Venice of the North, even though I don't like these kinds of slogans. You have all of these modern buildings, but then you also have the old brick buildings that were really nicely renovated, and that just gives the city a very unique flair. Really cool. Right, we are now entering what is called the Speicherstadt, the old warehouse district, and that district was built in the late 19th century. And just have a look at it. You got all these red brick houses, and they have actually integrated this into Hamburg's new port city. Now this building right here behind me, that's actually the Hamburg Port and Logistics Company, and this building has existed for many decades, and you can see just how beautifully they renovated this with the canals. So yeah, if you are in Hamburg, do not miss the Speicherstadt. And the most fascinating thing about this area is that Hamburg has been a port city for many centuries, since the Middle Ages pretty much, and it still is today. So yeah, it has really retained its character as an important shipping hub. I do want to get to another landmark before sundown, and that will be in about 30 minutes. But that landmark is about a 15-minute walk away. So let's try to get there while we still have a little bit of light. And this right here is the Hafen City or Port City. And I have to say, I absolutely adore this architecture. You got these warehouse type buildings behind me over there. And then you got the newer constructions here, the modern buildings. And they just complement each other perfectly. I mean, I have to say, well done Hamburg. And now, as the sun is going down, I'm gonna show you the last building that I wanted to see today. And we are talking about the world-famous Elbphilharmonia. So it's actually the last building over there, the Elbphilharmonia, and it looks quite small from here, but it's absolutely massive. From this angle, you don't see it too well, because you have to be on the other side of the water, but I don't have time to go there now. I think I'll put a picture of it onto the screen. But yeah, this is one of the biggest concert halls in Germany, and it is kind of the symbol of Hamburg.
Let's go.
Alright guys, I am super exhausted now. I'm not sure if you can hear that in my voice. It is day 4 of my Crossing Europe Without Flying challenge, and the North Cape is still 2,700 kilometers away. So I think that I'm gonna head back to the hotel now, get some dinner, and then get an early night's sleep, because I really need to save my strength for this challenge. Morning guys, it is 8:45 a.m. Day 5 of Crossing Europe Without Flying, and yeah, I slept like an absolute baby last night. That's just how tired I was after these 2 buses. Right now, let's get up, get ready, and get some breakfast. Alright guys, I have checked out of the hotel here in Hamburg, Germany, and it's time to continue the journey. I am now gonna head to the train station, and then I'm gonna take a high-speed train to